minutes. Oh, hey, Periscope. Thank you. Thank you for...
Yeah.
So those of us on Periscope, thank you for listening.
Periscope. Is there any of you on Periscope?
I'm getting warnings.
Yeah.
Warnings. Ah, there we go. We're streaming. We're streaming. Oh. Okay. Episode 32.
Episode 32 is live.
We're live. Okay, I'm just writing in Facebook the music that made us. The dads. I'm just going to abbreviate this. The music that made us. Dad's VDI. And okay, we're going live, man. I think we are up on the networks. It took a little while.
Good.
You know, it was a rough night. That's how it is.
You know, it's not something you just enter lightly. You don't just
you just don't start. You don't just start live streaming lightly. Yeah. You got to do it.
First you crawl. First you live crawl. Then you live stream.
All right, we're 8 minutes late. You ready to do this?
8 minutes late. I think we can pull it off.
Okay, here we go. Going to you.
Good evening, America. An incredible disturbance in the force has kept us from you for 8 long minutes. 8 long minutes that we'll never get back.
It's called Nye's internet connection.
We're just going to have to figure out a way to move on together. In a way that benefits us all. By talking about music that only really benefited the both of us. I'm Daron Jennings. With me tonight is Nye Warburton. Dancer, maker of pizza, chitlin lover, fellow astronaut. It's not about bent on revenge.
Darren.
What happened?
Took us a while. It took us a while.
We didn't have any idea what we were going to do for the show tonight, and we were brainstorming.
Yeah. Well, no. Actually, the reality is, my internet was clogging up. Welcome to Very Dad Ideas. My name is Nye.
It's sexier if we're lazier.
It is sexier if we're lazier. My name is Nye. I'm coming to you live from Long Beach. The guy over there is Daron Jennings, coming live.
I'm from NorCal, where it's civilized and charred.
We should be up on most of the networks. So if you got something you want to say to us, please feel free to chat with us. We will interact. This is completely live, and we have a hell of a show for you tonight.
We're not going to lie. We'll check those chat rooms occasionally.
We
will check them, and if we see something there, if anybody types anything, stuff's going to get typed.
I mean, it's all about the delays, right? So I think Periscope is pretty immediate, but like if you're on Facebook or any of those other things, let me check. Yeah. So we're live on all the networks for one of the guys. So tonight we're going to do the music that made us.
Specifically us. Nobody else.
Nobody else. But I mean, I had nothing today, and so I asked you what you want to do, D, and you were like, we should do
I came up with a very great idea, I thought you said, and didn't say the thing that you're going to say, which is derogatory of me.
It's like it's a little VH1, don't you think? It
is a little VH1. It is. I knew... I knew I was sort of releasing sort of a, just like a vaporous, like a VH1 sort of a silent fart cloud when I said, why don't we talk about music that we thought was defining to us in our decade.
Defined us or what or whatever. I think it's just an excuse.
Oh, no, I think I said, I was like, let's do the best 80s bands. And you were just like, dude.
That's too VH1.
Don't do that. Let's
do some fun.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's another $1,000. You should have told that job today that you could make fireworks. Man.
Oh God, yeah, right. So tonight we're gonna do the music that made us. Before we do that, though, we're gonna try a few new things tonight, starting with you, D.
Right.
We're gonna go on to what's your segment? What are you calling this?
It's called Dad Jokes.
Dad Jokes.
Dad Jokes.
There you go. Right.
Very dad jokes, folks. These are dad jokes for me to you that you can tell your children with, and maybe get the same sort of exasperated look of lameness that you might get from your kids looking at you, and just sort of they don't like what you're saying, but you still get to say them and then sort of giggle a little bit. You get a little bit for yourself. It's a little like joke vacation.
Right.
Now, how many apples grow on a tree?
How many apples grow on a tree? I don't know, Darren. How many?
All of them. All of them do. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Dad jokes. Dad jokes. jokes.
Okay. What else? What else you got?
Want to hear a joke about paper?
Of course I do. Absolutely.
Never mind. It's terrible. It's terrible. Paper. You see what I'm doing there?
All right. Okay. I'm taking it. What else you got? What else you got there?
Okay. Why did the Scarecrow win an award, Nye?
Why is that, D?
Because he was outstanding in his field. Dad jokes.
All right,
one more.
You got one more. Let's do it. Let's do it. In fact, let me give you a big wipe. There you go. Very dad ideas. A final wipe into dare.
Final joke of the night. What's brown and sticky?
I don't know.
Daron? Do you have any guess? A stick. Dad jokes. Dad jokes.
Oh, that was fantastic. Welcome. That was our first great case. Oh, man, I fucking needed that tonight. Okay, so let's move on to our main segment of the night, the music that made us. D, we're going to
music that made us.
Ping pong back and forth. If anybody has anything they want to say.
Yeah, has anyone said anything in the chat rooms? Nobody's done it.
It's zero all the way across the board, so let's just say fuck
Good, great. We don't want to hear from you anyway.
So
I'm kidding. Please,
D, kick us off. What music? Okay. With what parameters are we gonna start?
Okay,
with here?
so I sort of thought, what I really mean by this is, are there three bands that you just sort of like that you were with? You were sort of like they had your anthems for a while, and I think for me, I can kind of find three that weren't just like, oh, I really like that one song, or because I have plenty of bands that I like that one song. But these are about ones where I really tried to go the distance with the albums, listen to all the stuff. I mean, for the most part, because my first one was sort of like my 7th or 8th grade thing, and it was Anthrax.
Anthrax.
So it's really hard. It's Anthrax, dude, and it's really hard to sort of stay with that. Anthrax. They were sort of a band that was sort of a poor Metallica, not quite a Megadeth. They were Anthrax.
Yeah,
but they had some tunes.
And this is the thing that stays with you. Like,
their famous one was the one that they did with
Public Enemy.
Public Enemy, the Bring the Noise.
Well, no, they did that first, and then they joined Public Enemy, right? Like to do
They toured with them. They did an album with them, but Anthrax did like. They also did like they have the only song that I know of about Judge Dredd,
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely
Scotty in there with the big beard, and they played a lot of speed metal, the whole double kick drums, like they were very fast.
Yeah.
And I used to listen to them a lot when I ran.
Back in the day or now?
In like 8th grade. I listen to them now, like when I'm sort of at the end of my rope, energy wise, and. I can get get 3 or 4 more minutes out of it.
I gotta say, I was never into him. Never.
No one was. That's why I decided to talk about him, because, like, it's not. I mean, I love Metallica, but if I talk about Metallica, everybody talks about it.
I mean, they just kind of. Yeah, I mean, they had a couple of good tunes, but I never felt
Anthrax had a couple of good tunes.
But I felt like they were never like defining for me, or maybe it was just like your experience of going through high school or whatever, but I never got into them.
They were kind of angsty, they were an angsty.
I love angsty. I was tons of angsty, but it was not really my cup of tea.
Well, for me, it's like for Anthrax, it's like Got the Time, Judge Dredd, the Bring the Noise song. There's Got the Time is great. It's like a 2.5 minute song, and it's really good at the end of a workout if you really need to like sort of push something out.
Nice. All right, well, let me do my first one. My first one was the same kind of. I'm thinking it's probably the same. This is your high school period, like you think, or
this is sort of like Well, I mean, it's more like junior high. It's like 8th grade. It's sort of the end.
I hear you. So Led Zeppelin was mine.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Dude!
And I discovered Led Zeppelin. It was sort of like my first. Like before that, I was kind of like in Weird Al Yankovic. Right, and then
that's right up my alley too.
I went up from that to like real rock and roll. And I discovered, and then I had that big set with all the Led Zeppelin. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, like all the best songs or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah. The four disc thing for Christmas. Like
oh my god,
1988. Yeah, I remember that one.
Dude, that was the thing that really stayed with me. And of course, Led Zeppelin 4 was a really big deal for me. And I think
Led Zeppelin 4 is, you know, sort of their like most commercially successful album. I think they have like all of their ones on that. Like you can.
Oh, like Stairway to Heaven and whatever.
Black
right?
Dog.
Black Dog.
You've got it. Honestly, I think it's even referenced in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Like they're talking about if you're trying to like make it with a lady.
Yeah.
It's like the flip side of Led Zeppelin 4.
And John Bonham playing on with his hands and all this kind of stuff. So, anyways, I feel like Led Zeppelin was sort of the kind of like the authoritative, quintessential band for me in junior high and then high school, and then that led to subsequent bands' interests. D, we're at 9:50 now. Why don't we take a quick break? We're going to come back. Oh, I guess we started. So why don't we do one? Why don't we do one more?
Started a little late. Let's do one more each, and then
let's do one more each, and then we'll take a quick break. So what's your next band, and what is the definition of that?
So okay, so my next band is like a band that a buddy of mine turned me on into high school, and that I've just always listened to ever since. And it's Tribe Called Quest.
I actually thought about that for like a split second, but they're pretty fucking badass, dude.
They're an amazing band, and they were sort of a just really successful and really out there in the end of the 80s and the 90s, and I bought all their albums. Like I loved all their stuff, and just like whenever like I was doing some traveling when I was really young, like wherever I went, like referencing Tribe Called Quest, like you met like these other people who all like. I just was one of this like.
So like I think Low End Theory was the one that went crazy, right? And then
Low End Theory was crazy, awesome.
When I was Midnight Marauders. I was like when I was my freshman year of college was Midnight Marauders. I remember that everybody on campus was listening to Midnight Marauders.
Yeah, and People's Instinctive, and every one of their albums is great.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you put them in there because I was almost going to use them as like it's like an honorable mention.
As a runner-up?
Yeah, as a runner-up.
Yeah.
What's like your favorite Tribe?
So my like the ones that I really like of Tribe are Go Ahead in the Rain, Steve Biko, Electric Relaxation, Oh My God, Ham and Eggs is fucking hysterical.
But those are later, right? That's like
well, you've got People's Instinctive in there, and you've got some from Midnight Marauder, right. And then Biko is off of remember which. Yeah.
No, that's a great one, man, dude. Tribe is still the shit. Isn't there a documentary that what's his name?
It might be
Michael something or other.
Diabetes like a couple of years ago, and so
Fife died. What's his name? Beats Rhyme in Life. Michael Rappaport.
Yeah.
So he did. He basically did like a. And so I've heard some people tell me that this is just like the shit documentary about Tribe.
Oh.
So this is this great band, man. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, this is I feel like I'm totally within the wheelhouse. We're probably really, really same because my second is the Beastie Boys.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I think actually, D, I think you and I went to a Beastie Boys.
You and I went and saw them. We went and saw them. I mean, I am not a guy who's seen a ton of concerts either.
Really?
I've been to a very few concerts. I used to go to, like a few concerts. In high school, my dad wouldn't let me go to concerts.
So, when we were in San Francisco, I fucking loved the Beastie Boys my whole life. Like, when I was in high school, I had posters of them on the wall or whatever. I think they were really quintessential between, especially coming from Led Zeppelin, into using the DJ. They were kind of like guys that used that sort of like 80s rap, and then they combined it with the alternative, especially for like Check Your Head and everything like that. But very, very inventive, really great crazy awesome group. Of course, Yacht is dead now.
Yeah.
MCA.
Yeah. Like a weird like salvial.
Well, I mean, he had a
cancer.
gruff voice the whole time. It was totally part of it. But the thing I want to say about the Beastie Boys. Oh yeah, so yeah, I was trying to ask this girl out or whatever, and so I bought a couple of tickets. Of course, it didn't work out. So I called you up and I was like, dude, I got an extra ticket. Do you want to go see the Beastie Boys? I remember this clearly. You were like, yeah. Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah, no, it was not. It was just like, I get to go. Yeah, man. Yeah, dude.
It was a great show.
It was a great show.
It was a good show. It was where was that place?
It was at Bill Graham. Yeah, it was in
San Francisco by what's that place? By the City Hall, right?
Yeah, right across, right, sort of, in where the like on one side of it. So I've worked at that place before, like bartending, and like it's just Bill Graham Civic Auditorium, and you sort of enter across the street from the sort of square that has the park and the trees that's right by the the state buildings and stuff.
Yeah,
it was a fucking awesome, and they did like a second set when they like came out on like a
in the blue paisley
like a blue paisley dock or whatever.
Oh, dude,
and
that was
playing
fantastic.
Sabrosa, and just like it was fucking great.
Yeah, it was a great show.
Yeah.
All right, D. Let's take a quick break right here. We're gonna come back. We're gonna catch up on.
We'll do our last bands. We'll do a little drawing.
Our last bonds. We'll do a little.
You guys will listen to a little Jen Cass Remington.
That's right. We're gonna do that for a little bit. So stay with us. We're gonna be we'll be right back. All right. Okay. Cool. Yeah, it was great. So like Ad Rock was in a park right after Trump got elected, and he was basically like, hey, there's a lot of racism and shit going on right now, and the thing that you need to do is get out there and you got to write. If you're a band, make music. If you're a writer, write. Like you got something to say it. This is the time to say it right now. So that's what it is. So let's go to our draw.
Folks, our second segment always involves a live.
Right. So we're gonna go to the main draw, but D, let's not.
No, we
back
still
off on your last one. You
bands
still got a couple of. Maybe we can try to draw those. So what is your? Was it
my third band is sort of. They're like, it's like the cake of Canada. Do you like cake?
I do like cake.
Everybody likes a little cake, right?
Right.
But for me, the cake in Canada was Marcy Playground.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. They had one hit in here that was Sex and Candy, and it was a big hit. But I mean, his shit was angsty, but I really liked a lot of his albums. And it's really, for the most part, Marcy Playground is really just one guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, he just hired the band, right? It was like Marcy Playground. Wow, I like Sex and Candy.
Yeah.
I mean, that really hit a soft, like a part in the 90s, late 90s, or what it was.
Yeah, I think it was sort of more towards the 96, 97, 98. Like probably 97, 98 probably.
Yeah. Wow. I don't even like. I feel like I don't even know you right now.
Yeah. No, I remember the way I came up with Marcy Playground was I was living in South Korea, and a buddy of mine that was a Canadian friend of mine that I made over there. His name is Chris. Chris was like, you know, I was leaving Korea to sort of come back home, and he was like, "Hey, take a CD of mine. I'll take a CD of yours.
Yeah,
you know.
let's see where it goes." Right.
Yeah, see where it goes. So I gave him, I can't remember what I gave him, but he was like, "I want you to have Marcy Playground. It's a great album." And it was the one that had Sex and Candy on it.
Yeah, right.
And I loved a lot of the other songs on it. And then so I just wound up buying, like, his next 2 albums after that, I thought were fun.
Yeah. So you became a fan. You were like,
nobody fucking listens to him, I don't think. But like,
no one fucking listens to him. You're right. It's true. It's true.
I dig him.
Let me do my last one, and before we go off and do this, my last one is the Chemical Brothers.
Dude.
And the reason why is because I really love electronic music. I just fucking love electronic music, and I mean that also includes like, you know, the Crystal Method and Prodigy and Hybrid.
Oh yeah, I love
that,
Prodigy.
all that stuff. But I feel like these guys were the OG, the original guys.
Oh yeah, they definitely were.
They
absolutely
spawned
were.
out the entire genre, and they were like kind of like the first to do sort of the big sort of. And I saw them at the Hollywood Bowl. And they were kind of a little bit over the hill at this point, but like the whole crowd, they still knew how to take the crowd and just pinpoint exactly what you fucking wanted, and boom, it was amazing. They were really, right on. I feel like these guys are geniuses. So you know, they also, like, I still think if you look at the guys that are like the Cascades of the world or whoever it is. They all owe back to the Chemical Brothers.
Oh, I think I think they owe them a huge debt. I think they were out there at the beginning of it.
Yeah, they were the guys inventing the genre before anyone else was.
Before Prodigy was at it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. So that has been our.
We could talk about a runner up or two while we figure out what we're gonna draw.
Yeah. Well, why don't we?
What should we draw?
Yeah, let's do some draw while we talk about that. I'm gonna talk about music, I guess. So I'm gonna just start drawing shit. What's a runner-up or two that you had? I mean, you must have.
I was gonna, like, Led Zeppelin was definitely like a runner-up for me. So
yeah, like Tribe Called Quest was a runner-up for me. I feel like you and I have very similar tastes.
They Might Be Giants was a runner-up for me.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I was a big Giants fan. I mean, just you want to talk about somebody who has like
Triangle Man?
Frank Zappa prolificness. I mean, they put out albums. They're not done. They're still making albums.
Did you know that the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, they did the music for that?
They did the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse music. They did.
Yeah.
They did. They've done a bunch of shows.
Yeah, I mean, they had respect across all genres, whether you were like
They Might Be Giants and Homestar Runner at some point sort of hooked up and did stuff together.
Did they really?
Yeah, they did. And it's such a sort of a cavalcade of nerd organs that it was a very exciting time.
That's a good way to say that. They really are kind of a nerd band, right? So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember they were one of the first bands that like I saw at a small venue and really kind of came away with sort of a big venue vibe. I came in and it was just like, it's just the two of them.
Right.
And one of them's, they're hysterical and they do Stump the Band. And then maybe they don't do it anymore, but like you would just fling anything at them and they would just do it. So there's like that level of genius nerd thing that they have and do, and that's part of the act.
There was kind of a like a really talented sort of semi-stoner thing with like Fish and God Street Wine and whatever, and I felt like They Might Be Giants was kind of the predecessor a little bit of that in a way, because they had like the Depeche Mode and the Cult kind of like black shirt
They Might Be Giants
people.
Came up at the same time that there was the Clash and there was like the Cure and
Morrissey.
Yeah. And these guys were just a little more sarcastic about it. They just were a little more nonsensical.
Right.
And some of their songs are 13 seconds long.
Or some of them were like 10 minutes long, right? I mean, they did
Yeah,
all
yeah.
kinds of really
They
crazy
might be
stuff.
giants is not concerned with your like a lot of your problems with music. They do whatever they want, you know.
So this, I was doing the evolution of music from record player to CD to MP3 lists.
Did you ever used to bang around with a CD player? I used to walk all over San Francisco with a CD.
Dude,
player.
I had a CD player. Absolutely,
Yeah.
I had a CD player, and then I also had one of the original iPods in like, you know, I mean, early
One of the 5 gigs?
2000 and 2001. But I remember having iPods, and it's just dating myself here, where it would like spin up. You could feel it go like the drive.
Yeah, the
would spin
original
up
one,
inside.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I had a second gen one. They were the second gen. I think had 40 gigs on it. It was you could kill somebody with it. It was a brick. It was
right. So D, as I'm out still looking for jobs, I thought I would cut to one of one of my Uber tapes that I made.
Oh yeah, did you some more while you were Ubering
I was
around?
driving around an Uber a little bit, so maybe I thought that we could cut to one of those tapes and you can see what what I'm working on.
You didn't.
Right. So let's check it out here. Here I am driving an Uber again. Oh my God! It's the
Not
same...
driving very fast, though, are we? Obeying every single law of the road, you boob.
Yeah. So nice to see you again, Mr. Tor.
Mr. Tor.
Right.
Last name Skella.
So where am I taking you today, Mr.
Where
Tor?
are you taking me? That's a good idea. Wouldn't you like to know so this drive could be over faster?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to tell you where I want to go. I want to go to Paramount Pictures. I'm going to pitch a plot that's going to get me a whole bunch of money, buddy.
And that's somewhere
Payday for Skeletor.
somewhere in the middle
Wouldn't
of Hall.
that upset you? Because then you wouldn't be able to drive me. I'd be taking a helicopter. Do you know how to take a helicopter
I
fly?
don't. But I know that Hollywood is like a really hard place to get to. It takes forever because the traffic. There's no highway that goes to Hollywoad directly. And
Well, I
Paramount's
don't want the highways. That's how people get in accidents. Surface streets.
All right.
Do it.
So we're gonna take surface streets for the next 20 minutes, I guess, and that's
Yes, we are. And then another 20 minutes. And another 20 minutes. Then another 20 minutes.
What is wrong with that guy?
I know that guy is a little.
Just likes to talk about commutes.
All right, let's take
I don't get it.
like another 2-minute break. We're gonna come right back. We're gonna do our final segment where we're gonna try a new little segment, and maybe we'll
We have a lot of segments. We're like a caterpillar. We're just dad jokes.
All right, we'll be right back.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, we're gonna come back. All right, welcome back. This is our final segment, the third act. That was Jen Kest Remington. Please find more of her music at heydog, HEYDOGG.com. And Daron, while you think about your runners up, I want to do some business just to kind of like talk about.
Show the good people.
Yeah, so Very Dad Ideas is made with a variety of Adobe products. OBS Studio, we hit the networks of Restream.io. Daron and I chat using Discord, and we do all the sound audio with Voice Meter Banana. You can follow us at Very Dad Ideas. We go live every Tuesday night at 9:30. This is just becoming an addiction for us.
We're past the point of no return.
It's Facebook Live, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, and also Twitter. You can find our archive at YouTube and at Buzzsprout. All the podcasts are at verydadideas.buzzsprout.com, but also we are on iTunes, except for last week's episode, we haven't uploaded yet. And then please visit our website at verydadideas.com. The guy over there is Daron Jennings. You can visit him at daronjennings.net, and I'm at nyewarburton.com. And then the very lovely Jen Remington is at HeyDog, HEYD.
You should check her out. She's got a few more songs on her site that you guys should check out that are great.
Yeah, and she makes stuff, and she's the shit. So, Dee, before we go into our last little bit, is there any runner-ups that you wanted to...
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I did. I was going to say that there was a sort of an interesting experiment of a band that didn't quite happen due to like some illness and stuff like that, but there was for a brief moment a time when the old 97s, I don't know if you know this, it's sort of a Texas rockabilly band, joined forces with Waylon Jennings sometime sort of in the late 80s and made a couple of songs as a demo when they were auditioning to be his band in Nashville. Yeah. They released them on iTunes, and there's a couple of songs on there. One of them is The Iron Road, and it's sort of in a way, if country music was ever like rock and roll, like this is really close. What it would be like. Yeah, sort of what it would be like. I don't know, like it's like
what's it called? Like what's the band called?
Yeah, the band is just Waylon Jennings and Old 97s. Because it's just Old 97s is a band. They've been around. They put out a bunch of albums. But at one point they were looking at this job like this might be a thing that they might do. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. What about you? Anybody else?
Let me think. I mean, you said Tribe already, and I guess I could do a shout out to Public Enemy, because I think that they defined a lot of stuff that
you picked up the other end of the Anthrax song that was sort of
I mean, Public Enemy,
Run DMC and Aerosmith.
But also, like, I was really into Rage Against the Machine later on. And I felt like they were hugely influenced by Public Enemy, and like I feel like Chuck D was a master way beyond his time, and he defined a lot of the rap. A lot of the gangster stuff took over, but I think Chuck D was doing stuff that was like bringing things to the forefront of, black and civil rights and all that kind of stuff. It's way beyond. So that was kind of, I guess, my. So I'm gonna try a new thing tonight, Daron. I thought I wanted to do a new segment that I'm going to try to sort of flesh out, which is called This Week in Game Theory, which is a really good name at this point.
But briefly, let people know what game theory is, because I like guessed game theory at you for like 20 minutes today.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe this is part of it, is like I'm trying to figure out what game theory really is, but I often feel like game theory is sort of a branch of mathematics and economics that is, you have these mathematical components, but you also have like behavioral components. And so human beings behave in a way, and then everyone thinks that like everything's going to work out mathematically, but human beings don't actually behave in the way that you think that they do. And so you kind of have this weird tension in the middle, and that's kind of what I think game theory is. It's an awful lot of strategy, it's an awful lot of math, but it's also at the same point, it's also like psychology and behavior. So as I see things that I'm out and about or whatever, since I do like game design in general, I think about these ideas, and then every once in a while I come across an example and I see it in real life that I want to share. So so what I want to bring up is I was on a subway on the way up to Hollywood to pitch an idea that went nowhere this week. Or last week.
How long does that take to get from Long Beach to
It was about
Hollywood?
two and a half hours for me all the way to West Hollywood. Yeah, and the job didn't go either. But as I was on the train, so if this is the top of the train, right, and you've got seats, and these are the doors, right? Okay. You've got seats, and then you've got like people standing up, and
the stand pile.
Yeah, and I was like amongst a bunch of people here, and there was a person with a wheelchair and whatever, and there was an announcement that basically said there's an electrical failure. You're going to need to open the door. So
like manually open the door.
So if these are the doors, right, there's like a little hatch that's above the doors, and you have to kind of pull this lever down. So someone has to, so if this is a guy right here, like standing, he has to go and he has to manually pull the lever down in order to open the door.
Well, actually, he has to put his phone away, right?
Right. So that was the thing I thought was interesting, was that let's take 2 snapshots, one before the electrical failure and one before and after.
Right.
So before
before, right? Where was everybody before?
Everybody was here. Everybody was there. They all had their headphones on. No one was paying attention to shit, right? And like it was all kind of like I'm just struggling to stay here, stay whatever. But then once the electrical failure had, the whole dynamic of the entire car changed. So this guy took upon himself to say, I'm going to be the doorman. And he would stop and he would open the top and then the doors would open and then people would come in and out and he was actively like helping. Like there's a woman with a wheelchair here that he helped out. So the guy became empowered to become the doorman. And then also everybody became much more aware when the doors were open and closed.
Yeah, all of a sudden people are making eye contact. They're all like,
it's exactly, this is exactly my point, which is that this is a great example to me of game theory, which is that you have a system which everybody is participating in and they already understand kind of how it is. And as a result, they're checked out. But when the system changes, the behavior of the people start to change. And even though this wasn't like designed for the better, there might actually be benefits for people amongst the department, amongst the car, to look out for each other and do stuff for each other. So that's
just like you said, like there was a handicapped person there, like people weren't like just dicks, like they helped.
Yeah, and how much of our time are we spent like doing this shit, right? In like, oh, I get out of my way. This is my stop.
I wonder if there was something to do with it because you.
Say that again. I'm sorry, that cut
out. Do you think because you guys were underground that everyone's a little nicer to each other because it's like
I don't know.
As a rule, it's like when you're hurtling in a tube underground, it's just people are a little bit nicer because like you don't want to get trapped down there.
Yeah, but I mean these are factors that like. Are people better when they're air conditioned? Are people better when they're
Are people better in the air when they're flying? They're not. Like,
well,
we all know that.
Why do people cry when they watch, movies in the air? When they don't cry when, and these sort of behavioral components that, like this is the stuff that I find is really really interesting. Is that like, yeah, you can say I'm going to increase the air conditioning by X, but really the effect of behavior is like hard to measure and quantify, and so anyways, that's
but it's sort of that struggle, right? It's like trying to like figure out a way to put that change in a box that you could, if you could just
exactly, and you can manipulate. Like, I mean, why do different factors work and other factors don't? So, anyways, that's that's our show this week. I guess we're a couple minutes. We started a couple minutes late, so we did. Well, I mean, we started at like what 8 minutes.
We started 8 minutes late, America. Did anybody go into the chat rooms? Let's check the chat box.
We had
nothing.
0, 0, 1, 2, and 0. And let me double check on Facebook. Your Allison contribute a little bit. So
yeah, no, I am totally married to that lady, so that's that worked out.
Well, there you go. That was a good choice. Okay, so if anybody has anything they want us to talk about or do, please feel free to continue to chat all throughout the week. We'll check in on the comments. We had our first
dislike, which is great because honestly, like click like, dislike, laugh,
tell us what you think. All of them.
Tell us what you think.
Subscribe to the podcast, but also show up to the live show. Tell us what you think. Feel free to tweet at us at Very Dad Ideas. Let us know.
And tweet hard.
And tweet. Or tweet soft.
We're dads, man. We can take it. Like, just tweet as hard as you can at us. And we will take your lines of text and we will, tweet back.
All right. Hard. So this was a music episode, but next week maybe we'll come back. We'll do something a little bit more dad-like. We could dad it up. I think for the next episode 33. 33. Wow, we've been doing this, and we're not stopping, folks. So
no. There's going to be a 34.
Get fucking bored.
You guys are lucky. Spoiler alert: there will be an episode 35.
So, all right, we'll be back next week. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
All right, bye.
Yeah.